When that trust is broken, it is not only those involved who suffer, but our entire community. Thank you.
All right, thank you. May I hear the defense's opening statement, please?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm Blake Beamer, and I will be representing the Los Santos Police Department in this case. My client is being sued for excessively charging Asiago Swiss. The evidence will show, however, that Mr. Swiss was, if anything, charged with far less than he could have been. Mr. Swiss will be shown to have committed a litany of offenses, which would have added up to a number of more serious charges if Officer Darius DeRozan was really out to get him for personal reasons. In order to prove their case, the plaintiff will need to show that he did not commit the offenses which constitute, at a minimum, careless driving. We may call a number of witnesses, including attorneys familiar with the case. We will present video evidence that shows that the charges were not only accurate, but were also less than could have been charged. And to prove this point, we will introduce the state charge list to show that Officer DeRozan was kind in his charging, if anything. This is a civil case, and Mr. Swiss must prove his case by the preponderance of the evidence. He must show that he did not commit the offenses which led to his arrest, and he will be unable to prove this, and my client should be found not liable.
You cooked them.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Solis, as soon as I get my timer ready up here, I'll let you start on your way.
You say the word.
All right, Mr. Solis, you can proceed.
First piece of evidence the plaintiff would like to submit is a witness. It would be witness number 2, Anna Lee.
Okay, do we have an Anna Lee here tonight? Do you see Anna in the courtroom, Mr. Solis?
I do not.
Okay, in that case, I won't be counting that against your discovery document limit there.
All right. For my new first piece of evidence, I would like to present evidence 1, the video of the arrest.
Okay.
Should I give you a moment to go over it?
Yes, please. How long is this video?
2 minutes.
Okay. Okay, I've seen it. Thank you.
All right. To describe this to the court, we can see that Officer DeRozan pulls up to outside the Department of Justice, to which his partner immediately makes the statement of, he's not here, and who even is Swiss? Forgive me for paraphrasing. After that moment, a vehicle comes very close to the officer's cruiser, which has lights on. He is in code 2. At that point, DeRozan instructs him that he has committed criminal damage and that he is going to be arresting him for reckless driving. Now, out of everything that can be seen in this video, the one thing I can clearly see is incorrect lanes of travel. There's no notion of which way he's going, and it certainly is not illegal to make a right turn. And certainly he does not get onto the sidewalk and begin to park anywhere nearby. There's an emergency vehicle which has already stated they are looking exactly for him. And he has made himself very prominent to be exactly where they are requesting. I think the grand question is, why was he there in the first place? That is all for that evidence, Your Honor.
Okay.
Plaintiff call second witness. Blake Belford.
Hello, Mr. Belfort. Lieutenant, can you swear in Mr. Belfort for me, please?
Yes, sir. Please raise your hands. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you are about to give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You may be seated.
And just to clarify, Mr. Solis, is he, what kind of evidence is being called for right now?
At this moment, I'm calling him as a lay.
Okay, thank you. You can proceed.
Blake Belfort, were you the original lawyer taking this case when it was in cells?
I was.
How would you describe DeRozan's attitude towards this entire situation?
It was more of like an aggressive attitude. He was very annoyed.
And Blake, those weren't the original charges he was pushing for, was it?
Are you referencing just the careless driving?
That is correct.
No, there are more charges.
And why did he drop those?
I was never really given a real reason. It just turned that he only wanted to push that one later in the case.
Did he ever mention why he originally went there?
No.
When you later spoke to the other lawyer who was on scene, did she say she requested for officers?
No.
Have you known DeRozan for long?
I see him occasionally. I don't know him too well.
Would you say that in this instance, he was more aggressive on his charges than usual? And defense of them?
Yeah, I could say that.
Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Beamer, would you like to cross-examine Mr. Belfort?
Yes, briefly, please, Your Honor.
All right, I'll give you 3 minutes.
Good afternoon, Mr. Belfort. Just to confirm, the only charge that he was stuck with was the careless driving. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So nothing else at all, and that is the only thing that that did land was careless driving. Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Solis, do you have a redirect for Mr. Belfort at this time?
No, I do not.
All right, thank you, Mr. Belfort. You can step down from the stand.
Your Honor, if I may, I would also like to call Mr. Belfort as a direct witness during my presentation.
Okay. Yeah, if you don't mind, just don't leave. Let us know if you do. All right, Mr. Solis, you can continue.
I call up plaintiff evidence number 2, the charge list.
Okay.
First and foremost, I'd like to read for the court the definition of careless driving. Careless driving shall be satisfied by a minimum of 2 separate traffic offenses occurring simultaneously or within succession of each other. My client may have gone into opposite lanes of travel, but at no point did he create 2 separate traffic offenses, whether simultaneously or within succession of one another. We can see very clearly from the video of his arrest that he did not mount the sidewalk, and it is unclear from the video on how he approached, but with the fact that his vehicle was partially in turn, we can understand at some point he was certainly not going straight, and it is not illegal to make a right on red. And as the video does demonstrate, the light facing Officer DeRozan was red, which we can assume that the light opposite of that must have been green. So therefore, he was even making a right on green, Your Honor. There's certainly nothing illegal about that. I rest my case.
Okay. The plaintiff rests. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Beamer, the court is yours.
Well, the defense will recall Blake Belford for direct examination as both a lay and expert witness, depending on the question, and I can clarify which if needed.
Okay. Mr. Belfort, come on up. You understand you're still under oath, Mr. Belfort?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. You can have a seat there. And Mr. Beam, whenever you're ready.
And Mr. Belford, do you have a copy of the video as well for your recollection?
I don't right now.
If you'd like, Your Honor, I can send it to him directly, or you'd be able to, whichever you prefer.
Yeah, please do. I've got a lot of things going on up here right now.
Let me know when you've got that available to see.
All right, I've got it.
Very well. Just to go through a couple questions here. Can you identify the attorney with the purple hair seen at the start of the video?
Yes, that is Anna Lee.
And can you identify the officer with the darker skin tone?
That is DeRozan.
And the driver of the purple car seen at 5 seconds
Mr.
into the
Beamer,
video?
can you pause for 1 minute? It seems like your opponent had an issue.
Oh, so we did.
Mr. Beamer, whenever you're ready.
Yes.
If you could repeat your last question, I don't think he heard it.
Can you identify the driver of the purple car seen at 5 seconds into the video?
Yeah, that should be Swiss.
And what color is the traffic light seen at 5 seconds into the video?
That would be red.
Is the driver on the correct side of the road for traffic at that point?
Let me get back to that. He's not.
And between 5 and 10 seconds, do you see that purple car hitting the curb?
Yes, he does jump on it a little bit.
Between 7 and 8 seconds, do you see a collision between the purple vehicle and the LSPD vehicle?
I do.
And between 9 and 11 seconds, do you see anybody being physically moved by the purple car?
Yes, DeRozan was moved.
At the 10-second mark, what did Officer DeRozan ask him to do?
He asked if he could hop out the vehicle.
And did the driver comply?
No.
Now fast forward to the 29-second mark. Did the purple car remain on the scene?
You said 29 seconds?
Yes.
1 moment. No, it drove off.
And where did he go?
To the back parking lot.
At the 56-second mark, what did Officer DeRozan ask the driver to do?
To roll down the window and turn off the engine.
And did he comply initially?
Not initially.
And at 1:26, what did Officer DeRozan ask him to do?
He has to get his ID.
And did the driver comply?
No.
And at 1:56, did Officer DeRozan ask the driver to exit the vehicle?
Yes.
And did the driver comply?
No, he did not.
Is hitting another vehicle and then driving off considered a hit and run?
Yes, that would be.
And per our state charge checklist that was entered into evidence previously, I can submit that to you if you're not familiar. Is hit and run a traffic violation?
It is a traffic violation.
As is driving on the wrong side of the road?
Correct.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I'd like to request a sidebar with yourself and the opposing counsel.
All right, Mr. Solis, would you like to cross-examine Mr. Belfort on any of the lines of questioning that were brought up?
Sorry, I'm trying to recall the questions after our sidebar.
No problem.
Bad timing on my part. I have no questions for cross, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Beam, are you done with Mr. Belfort?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Belfort. You're good. All right, you can continue.
And going back to one last piece of evidence that we had there that was already submitted by the plaintiff was the charge checklist, or the charge list, rather.
The state charge list, yep.
Yes. Just want to make official for the court record the definition of felony evading arrest is the act of intentionally fleeing from a law enforcement officer attempting to make a lawful arrest or detainment by means of giving verbal or visual directions, the announcement of their presence, or the operation of their emergency vehicles such as lights, sirens, or a combination of both.
Okay, it's in the record.
Very good. The defense rests.
All right, thank you. We are ready to move on to closing statements. Mr. Solis. Whenever you're ready, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen of the court, while some of our witnesses were not present here today, I hope we can still look at this situation as it unfolded properly and recognize that there are many questions left to be asked on why Officer DeRozan was on scene or made the arrest at all. While he did choose to lower or drop some of his charges later, he still went in there hot and heavy, ready to apprehend and take down someone who he works very closely with. I hope that the courts find in favor of the removal of this wrongful charge. And I hope you all have a great night.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Mr. Beamer, it's yours.
It has been a pleasure to argue this case before the court. As you've heard from the witness and saw in the video evidence provided, Asiago Swiss committed multiple traffic offenses, which, when taken into the totality, constitute careless driving at a minimum. If Officer DeRozan looked at everything that happened, he could have gone so far as to charge reckless driving and felony evading arrest. For Mr. Swiss to claim that others have gotten away with this, or worse, or that this is a dispute between him and Mr. DeRozan, it's no excuse. He admitted to these offenses. They're seen on video, and thus he fails to meet the preponderance of evidence in his favor, and the defense requests that the court find in our favor. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you very much. The court is going to be in recess for, I would say, let's say 10 to 15 minutes. I will let you know, Lieutenant Bradshaw, whenever I am ready. And yes, everyone have a nice recess. Enjoy. Get some snack packs.
What's in the jacket?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the court is now back in session. Please take your seats.
Back to center. I don't know, just a good view.
Yeah, some people like to stand here.
All right, thank you very much,
Yeah,
everyone, for your patience.
that's a nice spot to sit.
I have come to
Yes.
a decision on this case.
There you go.
So, after reviewing the evidence frame by frame, the video evidence, along with the information we shared in our sidebar, take into account, and taking into consideration the testimony of the witness, the charge of careless driving is going to stand. Not only did the defendant travel on the wrong side of the road, he also came to a stop, pointed his steering wheel fully to the left, as can be seen by the tire position, and then accelerate again while he was within inches of the police cruiser, the parked police cruiser. As for if there were any ulterior motives behind the arrest, is unknown to the courts. That being said, it was still a legal basis for an arrest. The defendant will not be responsible for compensation asked for within the notice of lawsuit. As always, I will have a detailed summary for both parties to examine, and the Court of Appeals is always at the plaintiff's disposal. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate you all being respectful of the courts, and have a good night. The case is dismissed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Woo.
Big up the PD in full